All right, let's go. Day number 10 of running paid ads for a marketing agency and targeting Shopify business owners, successful Shopify business owners, ideally. But from what you've seen in the last few episodes, if you've been following along, there are a lot of beginners and I don't have an offer for them. So if you want to make an offer for beginners, if you want to have some kind of coaching or mentorship or teaching other people, there's always a market for that. No wonder the, let's say, info product business is huge, because there will always be more beginners than, let's say, established and successful business owners, because it does take time to actually get there. Not everyone has the patience, right? I was just getting over a list of Shopify stores from the US, and if you look at Shopify stores with 1 to 10 employees, there are way more, almost double or triple compared to the ones who have 11 to 20 employees. And then it goes even 50% less, so around half of that when you go to 20 to 50, then from 50 to 200 employees. So it just goes down, right? Because it's just like with anything, the rich get richer, and there are actually fewer people at the top. However, it's not necessarily harder to get at the top, right? It's just about having patience and, of course, also taking the right decisions, but also patience, right? I mean, look at Warren Buffett, the best, let's call him the best investor of all time, or among the best. And he is in that conversation purely because of patience. Yeah, he also did a couple of good picks, but if you look at his entire 50, 60, basically 80-year investing career, because he started at like 14, so until 90 plus, he had enough time to actually compound, but he did have, let's say, maybe 4 or 5 big wins. One of them recently Apple, in the past Coca-Cola, for which he's known for, and a couple of others in the past. But basically, he didn't make too many big, amazing decisions. There were just a few. And same here. Whenever you decide to, let's say, try to market yourself or create a personal brand, right? Like you could try out different things, but just a few of them will work. So let's come back to actually talking about leads, right? So paid ads is actually one way that I'm trying to get in front of the right people. And there are multiple ways, and I'm basically testing all of them. So cold email is another one, and it is getting more saturated. So some insights from myself, because I've been testing the US market, the UK market, the European market, excluding the UK, and I've definitely received the most replies from the rest of Europe. Then I would say very close UK, and then very few replies from the US. It might be because my message sucked, which is very possible, but at the same time, I think it has to do with market saturation, meaning that if you receive 40, 50 emails and they sound similar, or everyone is promising you the world, then of course that you will have less confidence that this will actually work, right? Even if it's the right offer for you. But just because you've had all of those experiences in the past, then you are likely not to take it as serious, right? So let's talk about the paid ads leads. I also want to talk about cold DM, because I'm actually working right now with a very good appointment setter, and I'm saying very good just comparing it to myself, to my skill, which is not the best, because you need to be aware if you have the patience, if you have the empathy, if you have all of the recipes necessary, all of the ingredients for the recipe to work, right? Just like with baking a cake, you need a few things. And when it comes to people, it's clear that all of us are different, right? Like just do a personality test and you'll see that you're most likely different, even a couple of percentages when it comes to extroversion, introversion, and so on, right? So this is where you really need to know yourself, and this is where you actually get some leverage when you can fill some gaps in your skill set, let's say, and you do that by getting better at the things that you suck at. That's one thing, but eventually you can also work with other people, hire them yourself, or form a team, right? If you're not, let's say, the leader in a group, but you might be the number second, third, fourth, right? Everyone needs a co-founder and so on. So there are many ways to go about it. But let's talk about the quality of leads, right? And I don't like to use this word, leads. I should have started actually with this. It's a better conversation if we talk about this, because when you say leads, right, it's just like a number. And let's be honest, we are actually talking about people, right? Like I could be a lead for someone, you could be a lead for someone else, right? But when you use this term, it's not helpful for you either, right? Unless you just care about profit, which you might, but it doesn't help in the long run. And you also don't take the conversations as seriously, right? Because I do have here in let me see, in around 30 minutes a call with someone who filled a form and they booked a call. I'm pretty sure they are unqualified, but I'm still taking the time because, like, what else would I do with that 40 minutes right now on a Friday night, right? So I do have actually another call, more important one later on, but at one point you do need to have enough conversations at least in order to get to know the beginners, the people who are qualified, and so on, right? So that's how you also get better at sales. That's how you get better at communication. You just do it enough times. But not to yap too much here. So let's look at the ad account, because leads are still coming in. And I've actually made an integration with Go High Level because I'm using Go High Level. So you are able to import the leads from the Facebook lead form to Go High Level, and in Go High Level you can basically keep there the name, the phone number, the email, and one good thing is that you just have all of them in one place, right? Because otherwise you have to go into Facebook Ads Manager, into Instagram, into your email provider, and so on, like too many places, right? And you need to always simplify. But let's come here into the ad account. Let me switch the camera and look at the ad account just so you can see what happened recently. I wouldn't say much happened, but this is what happens, I would say, when you're like 30% into the process, because right now we're like on the 10th. Yeah, we're on the 10th of January, and I plan to have this series for the full month. And this is when things get harder or you get bored of it in most cases. Like after around 10 days, the first few days are the excitement and so on, but then you actually need to see if something works. And if it doesn't, like right now, it's not like it's going amazing. I mean, the cost per lead is decent, but it's not like it has made anything, right? But that's why it's great to think in terms of making connections for the long term. It's just more helpful. But let's switch to the ad account here for like a minute, because it's not a lot that actually happened, but there are some insights as always. All right, so we're in the ad account, and as you can see, if I select yesterday, we had 3 leads, 2 of them coming from this old ad and 1 from the newer ad set. Correction here, ad set, not ad. From this ad set, which is targeting 25 plus, which I do think is a more relevant audience. And another thing that I want to mention, let me move the camera here because I think you're actually seeing more of Slack than the actual screen here. So if we look at today, you'll see that right now we have 1 lead from here and 1 lead from here, which is great because I do believe a more qualified audience is this one, the 25 plus. It doesn't guarantee that it's a higher or better audience, but you can see that it has a decent click-through rate here, 4.29, right? So let's not forget that these people are actually interested in Shopify, right? So they are already pre-qualified to some extent, just not the most qualified. But you can see it's basically this ad, and I'm not surprised it's probably on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram, Yeah, you can see it. Not the prettiest one, I will admit it, but it did get a click. I won't dox anyone, so I won't click on here. Same here with the messages and so on. But they do get attention, right? So that's also because there's not a lot of competition when it comes to ads. And let me switch the camera back on to myself. All right, so as I was saying, there's not a lot of competition here when it comes to paid ads. And why is that? Simple, because you actually have to spend money. So it comes with a risk, right? And at the same time, I wouldn't say it's the biggest risk, especially if you have some funds, some capital. And why is that? Simple, because most of us will gladly offer our time. Easier, I would say in most cases, we offer it for small things. Sometimes when it's like a $10 thing or even refunding something, like we're wasting so much time. Even myself right now, I need a new phone, and I've been looking on some sites to buy it like new, never locked and so on. And like I've been wasting so much time. I could have just went here to the store, but I didn't want to offer like 10% more for it, although I'm basically losing money by not going there right now, buying and then focusing on other things. So not all decisions are always the best, but at the same time, you do need to think about this critically, right? Like you're seeing me right now, actually letting you know where I think I'm not doing the best job. And even with ads, like, are they the best? Not really. But why are they actually getting leads? Simple, because there's not so much competition out there. And sometimes you just have some, let's say, areas of opportunities. Just like with TikTok Shop, while it had its time, it might still have, but it did get some people, let's say, famous, rich, and so on. Not that many, I think, but there's always an opportunity out there, right? And for example, paid ads is something that not many are doing. Like I am in some communities, right, with bigger agencies and so on, and not everyone is doing it. And even those that are doing it are not necessarily doing it well, just because like even I'm not doing it, and I'm actually fairly experienced in this. So that's why you need to see these kind of videos to see that at almost any level there is an opportunity, just because no one is giving 100%. The ones that are billionaires care about like other things, the ones that are millionaires care about other things, the ones that have 100K care about other things. So there's always room, or there's always some kind of gap that exists. Just like with you might have goals, some goals now, and later you'll have different goals, right? So that means that the goals that you have now, those will probably be taken by someone else in like 5 years from now, right? That's why we usually go through phases in our business or in our roles over time. Some roles are taken by someone else, right? And then you ideally grow yourself. But not to make this way too long, I shared some insights here, some of my thoughts. I hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments, because this is more so documenting, so I'm not necessarily trying to get famous here or anything. It's also about accountability. And if just one person looks at this, like, that's more than enough, at least for now. So I would say that's about it, and basically see you in the next episode, which is tomorrow.